Are you struggling to get that key piece of Ulduar hard mode loot? In Phase 3 of Wrath of the Lich King, there's a brand new currency that will solve all your gearing problems. Sidereal Essence will let you get Ulduar 10-man hard mode gear for free. So let's cover how to get this currency as fast as possible, as well as exactly what you can buy. So the day that Phase 3 drops, there will be a brand new Titan Rune mode called Titan Rune Beta. I'm looking at this as sort of a new Heroic Plus mode. You'll be able to access this mode just like the Titan Rune Alpha from the device near the entrance to each dungeon. This really is a new Heroic Plus with new rewards for each dungeon as well as new dungeon modifiers. The main difference with the new affixes is that instead of 100% more health, mobs will have 140% more health. And meanwhile, enemy damage is increased by 40% up from 30%. There are also a lot of small tweaks to the runes. For example, there are now random fire blasts at Utgard Keep on top of the typical glaciate mechanic. And the new dungeon in Phase 3, Trial of the Champion, is getting new modifiers as well. In my testing, the new Gladiator rune was causing damage and healing buffs to spawn around the arena during fights. I assume this was to make up for the more difficult fight tuning. For all your hard work clearing the new Heroic Plus dungeons, you'll be getting Ulduar 10-man normal gear from the bosses. But that's not all. You'll also be getting a currency called the Sidereal Essence. This currency can actually be used to buy heroic 10-man loot. That's right, that dark matter you've been dreaming of is just sitting on a vendor now. In the same room where you can get emblem gear, you'll notice a giant glowing star NPC. The animated Constellation NPC has all the hard mode 10 loot other than the reply code alpha. Some of the highlights include the Mjolnir runestone, which is going to be perfect on my Fury Warrior. There's also the Petrified Ivy Sprig, which is arguably still this next phase for priests. Or you could get a Suga for 30 Sidereal Essence. That's a great weapon for your new mage ult. Hey, who put my Ice Core staff on there? That wasn't supposed to be there. Your BIS items are going to appear on the vendor next unless you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and click the like button. So anyways, on pricing, prices range from 12 Sidereal Essence for rings to 40 for two-handed weapons. I mapped out the prices per item in a document below the video. I'll also update that doc with full Heroic Plus boss loot tables when they come out. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, we're gonna want to get as many Sidereal Essences per day as possible. With the current system in my testing, we got 1 Sidereal Essence per dungeon, and it wasn't random or anything, it was always from the last boss. Since the items on the vendor are priced pretty cheaply, it doesn't seem like Blizzard will be tweaking the Sidereal Essence drops. That being said, of course things are still up in the air and we could see some changes. Either way, we already know the best way to get Sidereal Essences. That's right, it's time for World Tours. If you played at launch, you'll remember the World Tours where you form a group and spam as many heroics as possible before everybody gets tired and goes to bed. This strategy is once again going to be the best way to get your hard mode 10 gear. But before you start spamming dungeons, if you're on a fresh character, I'd recommend buying as many epic BOEs from the auction house as possible. People are definitely going to gatekeep Heroic Plus hard, so I'd recommend making your own groups as well. Or you could rely on guildies and friends whenever possible. I'll personally be healing in Heroic Plus dungeons, so I'm always going to prioritize recruiting a tank that's willing to stay for several dungeons. Then we can always replace DPS as needed if they aren't willing to stick around. So my efficient World Tour route will prioritize easy dungeons like Violet Hold and Utgard Keep. I expect every dungeon to take around 30 minutes plus travel time. A typical world tour will take around 8 to 10 hours. I'm always going to make sure to do the daily heroic and normal quests for free emblems and gold as well. Though one note is that I do plan to skip Oculus on most days because it's just too annoying to be worth it for pugs. Since there are currently 13 heroic dungeons in the game, we can expect to get 13 Sidereal Essences per day. That means you could have a Mjolnir runestone in just 2 days of running dungeons. Pretty awesome, right? What's also awesome are the big loot changes coming in Phase 3. Or check out my Phase 3 loot changes video next to get caught up.